Welcome to this week's video tutorial. Today I want to show you how you can create an InstantAtlas dynamic report with a map that zooms to the area of an applied filter value. I'm going to use this report with postcode sectors for Edinburgh as an example. You can see that the data in this report includes a filter called zones with 5 different filter values for Edinburgh Centre, East, North, South and West. If I apply these filter values, I see that all the components of my report only show the postcode sectors for that particular zone. However, the map always stays at full extent and it does not zoom to the filtered area. To achieve this, I need to republish the report and add as a contextual layer a digital map file with the boundaries I wish the report to zoom to, in this case the zones of Edinburgh. Secondly, I need to make sure that my filter values link correctly to the polygons in the contextual layer. And thirdly, I need to make sure that the contextual layer is either visible when I open my report or at least preloaded, otherwise this filter zoom will not work correctly. So the first step is to publish my report again, but to include a contextual layer with Edinburgh zones. To do this, I start the publisher. Select my template, single map is fine. Click Next. I select postcode sectors for Edinburgh, that is my base geography. I click Next. As my data file, I can reuse the data file of my current report. So I'm going to browse to that data XML file. That's the one, and I upload it into the publisher. Click Next. Now the publisher asks me for contextual layers. So I add a layer, and now I zoom to the contextual layer that I want to add, which is in my case the zones of Edinburgh. Now it is very important that I link this contextual layer to the filter values. The filter values are set up in the Excel workbook. I can quickly open that. Can be found in the geography and filter spreadsheet in column D. These are all my filter values, and these now need to link to my contextual layer. When I add the contextual layer in the publisher, I need to make sure that I choose as a feature code field a field which contains exactly the same values as my filter. I can check the content of the selected feature code field by clicking on the Properties button and selecting the Selection tab. And here I see the values of the feature code field, and I can see that they are exactly the same as the filter values in my workbook that I used to create the data XML file. If you do not have a field in your contextual layer that matches your filter values, you need to either adjust your filter values to match the field you choose in the feature code field of your contextual layer, or you need to add the appropriate field into the digital map file you use as a contextual layer. The latter is done outside of InstantAtlas using a GIS application. In any case, for the filter zoom to work, the values of the feature code field need to match exactly your filter values. I click OK and then Next and run through the publisher until it asks me for the output folder. And I will create a new subfolder in here called Report with Zoom. Select this and publish the report. I unpack the report into the same folder. And I view the report. If I now apply a filter, you will see that the filter zoom still doesn't work. This is because up until now the report has not yet loaded the contextual layer of the Edinburgh zones, which is necessary for the filter zoom. If I toggle this layer on and then apply a filter, I see that the map zooms to that filtered area. To activate the zooming from the point when I open the report, I can use the InstantAtlas designer to preload the contextual layer. To do this, I will open the relevant config.xml file in the InstantAtlas Designer. And need to wait a while until it starts up. If I click on the map, I see on the right hand side the properties of the map, and one of them is called preload contextual layers. If I tick this box and I save the designer and refresh my browser window, I will see at the first glance nothing has changed. The contextual layer is still not toggled on by default. However, if I filter to a filtered value, the map zooms instantly. This is because the report has now preloaded the information it needs from the contextual layer in the background. Alternatively, I can also decide that I want to see that contextual layer when I start my report. To do this, I need to add the ID of the contextual layer here in the visible contextual layer list. IDs of contextual layers are always contextual layer without a space, a capital L but a lowercase c, and then a number. Since we just have one contextual layer, it will be the number 1. If you have several, you need to just define which one you want to see in here. So it would be contextual layer 1 or contextual layer 2, 3, and so on. So I leave it like this with contextual layer 1. Save the config file again. Refresh my browser window. And now I see that the contextual layer is toggled on by default, and the filter will obviously also work because the information is already loaded. I hope this little example gave you an insight of how you can create a zooming map for your own filter and in your own report. For more information, you can also find a user guide on our website, or you can also contact the support team via support@geowise.co.uk.